realize all you see is for you and I. In your dreams, through the nights, every moment that passes by, look to the heavens, hands spread wide, thanking Allah the Most High. There is no God but Allah.
Bismillah ar-Rahman ar-Rahim. Assalamu alaikum wa rahmatullahi, my dear viewers. I am very pleased. I thank Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala for giving us the opportunity to discuss a very important topic. It's going to be a series of topics actually, and it's iTeens World. It will basically mainly deal with leadership, development of youth through acquiring knowledge, and basically we'll be facilitating that learning so that you can apply that knowledge and develop true and big leaders. I have here my renowned guest, Dr. Mamdouh Muhammad, with over 30 years of experience in education, and of course you're very familiar with his programs on Huda TV. Doctor.
Jazakallahu khairan for this. I'm also very happy to be with us, to be with you here, for all of us discussing one topic here. And I hope, inshallah, this topic will benefit me, myself, and will benefit the audience definitely, and we'll share what we have, inshallah. My name is Mamdouh Muhammad. I'm currently working as the director of Arrow for Consultancy and Training. I'm originally from Egypt, but I'm American citizen.
I have two young guests here, and I would like you to introduce yourself.
Assalamu alaikum, brothers, everybody.
Salam.
My name is Abdul Mateen Yusuf, and I'm 17 years old. And originally I'm from India, but I've been living in Dubai for more than 16 years now.
MashaAllah.
And I'm in year 12.
MashaAllah.
Assalamu alaikum wa rahmatullahi wa
Wa alaikum assalam.
barakatuh. My name is Omar Tamsah. I am in grade 11. I am 16 years of age. I'm from Canada, of a Lebanese origin.
MashaAllah. Starting for the topic, I would like to just go back and relate to what is ethics and why we took it as the first subject for this program. And the reason being, ethics is understood differently in different aspects all over the world, and we as Muslims base our foundations of ethics on Quran and Sunnah. And I would like you to discuss further, and by giving us some examples of what do you think moral foundations of a Muslim should be, and how we can achieve them.
First of all, really, I praise and like the way that you started, because you began with ethos or ethics. Because lots of people, when they talk about leadership, usually they ignore this aspect. We Muslims know that leadership without ethics, it means nothing. Because it's not important to be how to be leader and to lead an organization and to lead a country without ethos, without ethics. We've seen some examples in history, even in the new history, even the recent history, even currently now. We see some of the leaders, after few years, we discover that he or she has no ethics at all. And everybody starts disrespecting them. And this is something very important in Islam, as we know that regarding our Prophet Muhammad sallallahu alaihi wasallam, he was a model of ethics. He was a group of manners, good manners, represented in one person, sallallahu alaihi wasallam.
Yes.
And if you really look at the world, and you see different types of ethics, and sometimes you wonder where do they take these moral values that they call ethics, and really are they applying that? Because a lot of business companies all over the world, they aspire to have strong ethics and foundations, moral foundations in their organizations, but sometimes you feel like really, what is it really based on? Where did they acquire? So for Muslims it becomes very easy, because we acquire our moral ethics and foundation from the Quran and Sunnah. So what do you think, Abdul Mateen? What aspect of ethics that you think that as a young Muslim, what do you aspire to be? What do you understand of ethics?
I think ethics, in an Islamic sense, is based upon the manners and behavior of Prophet Muhammad ﷺ, along with what Allah has commanded us in the Quran. In the present day, of course, that we have to apply those things in our daily lives, and I think that is something that we tend to overlook, and we tend to go with the flow of which will give us more benefit in the short term, rather than that which give us more benefit in the long term.
But how do you think that you can, learning is it one thing. I think the first thing is to understand what is the moral obligations in Islam, what is ethics in Islam, what are the things that will make us practice those skills that fall under the guidelines of Islamic ethics.
If I may interrupt, first of all, we know that the Prophet ﷺ talked about this issue of ethics. And he said, إِنَّمَا بُعِثْتُ لِأُتَمِّمَ مَكَارِمَ الْأَخْلَاقِ. I have been sent only to complete the ethics and to perfect the ethics for people so that they would see a real example in life so they can emulate it and follow it. Going back to the same topic, the issue, I would say that one big difference in the Islamic perspective to leadership than others, our perspective to this leadership is taken from divine. It's divine one.
True,
we don't invent new issues. We don't experiment with issues. So this works and this doesn't work. Rather, we take it from Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, from the creator of all human beings.
The creator of human beings should be the one who should tell us
absolutely
how do we run ourselves the best way possible.
In other contexts, you find people are making their own ethics.
Yes.
And not only that, some organizations change these ethics, so they are experimenting. Yes, definitely there's a good percentage of the ethics that they use is from, yes, their culture, their own culture. And perhaps some of them are taken from a religion. For example, to be truthful all the time, you keep your word, you fulfill your promises. These are very good ones, which has some roots in Islam and in Christianity and almost in every religion. This is something good. But ours are purely divine. They are from Almighty Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. We don't experiment with them. And this makes a good foundation. And you were just saying something about the Prophet Muhammad sallallahu alaihi wasallam and his name and reputation before he was known as a leader.
Yeah.
You were just mentioning them.
Yeah, true. To build a leader, the Prophet Muhammad ﷺ, before he was given the nubuwwah and the prophethood,
yes,
he was before that itself. He was called the truthful,
the
Sadiq al-Amin,
Sadiq al-Amin,
and truthful, trustworthy as well.
And that's why you will see that he was given the opportunity to lead, arbitrate between the Quraysh when they had the problem of the
Hijr Aswad. Yes.
And the same thing when he said, when he was on the mountain, I don't know,
Mount Safa. Yes.
You know that story, Omar? Like when he was on the mountain.
Yeah, when he was on Mount Safa, when he at the beginning of his prophethood, when he said, "If I tell you that an army is standing behind me in this mountain, would you believe me?" And all of them said yes.
Yes.
Because they knew he was a truthful and trustworthy person, and he would never ever lie.
Absolutely.
And I think that's a very important quality of a leader.
And I think that's what we are trying to focus on. We're trying to focus that we understand what those moral ethics are, Islamic ethics, of course, Islamic ethos, and then we see that are we really applying it, or are we just acquiring that knowledge and keeping it with ourselves? And this is why we need to look at what are those things. So can you, Omar, do you think of any other things that help us build that moral foundation in terms of Quran and Sunnah?
Well, first of all, we need to have the correct interpretation or understanding of Islam.
Yes.
So we can apply ethics correctly.
Yes.
Okay. So give me an example. Like, for example, Abdul Mateen said that we have to be truthful. The other one is amana,
Trustworthiness.
I mean, so what we see nowadays is sometimes we neglect this most important part.
Yeah, a lot of people are like first come, first serve. So I saw this first, even though it's yours. You left it somewhere else, so now it's mine. That's
Yeah.
a popular concept that is going among teenagers right now.
Yeah.
Yes, but don't you think that this is something Islamic? First come, first serve it?
First, no, I forgot. I keep forgetting the name for that. I found it and I get it.
Finders keepers.
Finders keepers, yeah.
Finders keepers.
Finders keepers, losers reapers.
So
exactly.
this is not as what you said right
Yeah.
now, which is first come, first serve. It is Islamic concept because
Mm-hmm.
when I come first, that means I have the right to take the issue or to be treated or to finish my work before the others because I came, let's say, that half an hour earlier, so I shouldn't be treated as the one who came late.
Yeah, true.
I mean,
yeah.
the concept of amana is like, somebody gives you and, something to keep, and then you just forget about it and you just say, did you really give me these things?
Yeah,
And,
true. The famous Arab story about one person, he went to Hajj for 7 years and he had given a pot of olives to one of his neighbors to keep, and below the olives was gold. But the neighbor thought it was a pot of olives. So one day, when the person had still gone for Hajj, he took the olives, and when he was eating from the olives, he found the gold. So he took all the gold. And when this person came back from Hajj 7 years later, this guy just gave him a pot of olives back.
MashaAllah.
And then at the end of they went to the judge, and at the end he did have to pay it. But see, there's lack of trustworthiness that is present
In other words, that he cheated on him.
he cheated
he
on
cheated
him.
on him.
And the issue of cheating, and because many of the organizations and companies and corporates nowadays, they cheat people by just selecting some of the terms between them and their customers, and something hidden somewhere in the contract when you try to download something from the internet, and it has many conditions. Of course, nobody's
Nobody's going to read them exactly.
Of course, this is the problem. But at the same time, on the other hand, the people should not cheat on this because they know that this is not, I would say that, ethically correct.
True. Buy one, get one free. Terms and conditions apply.
Yeah, these conditions, yes. So they should be very clear. So the simple person that they deal with would understand exactly what they have. And the Prophet ﷺ reached the level to the degree that not any person would be just a good-mannered person who does not ever cheat. But he said that a person who cheats, he's not from us. That means the quality of Islam
Very clear.
is taken out from a Muslim person who cheats. Whether you cheat Muslims or you cheat non-Muslims.
A lot
This
of
is
people,
one of
they say that
misconceptions.
It's okay.
Yeah, this is
He's
a
a
big
kafir,
mistake.
it doesn't matter. I can cheat him.
They thought that. This is not Islamic at all. When you live in one country, you go by the law of the land as long as it does not violate your Islamic ethics.
True.
Yes. So we have to respect any land that we live in. Yes, we have to go by the law. And we have even to go beyond the law to show the people that Islam has more ethics than... And this was the reason for many people to be Muslims, by the way.
Yeah, that's how India came into Islam, beginning
Yeah.
when the Muslim traders came from the Arabian Peninsula all the way down to South India. When
And
they
I mean,
came.
these
yeah,
are
a
the-
lot of business people
Yeah.
over at the South India.
Even
really
in
long-time
Indonesia
Muslims.
and Malaysia, I mean, how did
Yes.
Islam go? It was through the traders.
No
and
single
they
army
were-
ever went to
They were
that side of the
practicing
world at
that
all.
Islamic
Exactly, yeah.
ethos. I mean, I can give you a short story from India, and it was during the British rule, and there was a dispute between the Hindus and Muslims for some small land. And they were both saying that they want to build the mandir, a Hindu temple for worship because this is their land, and then the Muslims were saying we want to build a masjid because it's their land. And subhanallah, when you look deep into the story, the guy they select for arbitrating was both the Hindus and the Muslims agreed on a mufti, and he was a
Mashallah.
Muslim.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And the Hindu said, we want him because we know he is honest and he will really tell you that
Give justice.
give justice. And at the end, when he went to the courtroom and he said, yes, actually I know that this was the owner of this land were Hindus. They were not Muslims. And mashallah, like because of this, the Muslims, subhanallah, started to go against him, and they thought that you are being a traitor to us and you are not. But eventually what happened is that the whole village became Muslim. And they actually did build a masjid in the same land that they had disputed.
This is due to the
Because of-
trustworthiness and
Due
the
to the
justice.
trustworthiness. And I think from these real examples we can learn that these are the things that we need to practice. And this will build the confidence. And this will attract people
Other
to
people
take
to
you
see.
as leaders.
Yeah.
We'll be taking a short break and we'll be back soon.
Look to the heavens, hands spread wide, thanking Allah the Most High. There is no God but Allah.
Let's start from where they started. Who are they? The companions of the Prophet ﷺ. When they started learning the religion of Islam, they started with the Aqidah, the belief system, faith. Brothers and sisters in Islam, dear viewers, the Prophet ﷺ spent 13 years in Mecca teaching that generation the belief system, the Aqidah. Aisha radiallahu anha confirms this by saying, the first things which were revealed from the Quran was matters of Aqidah. Who is Allah? Jannah, paradise and hell. Jundub ibn Abdullah al-Bajali, may Allah be pleased with him, said, we learned the belief system, we learned the Iman, we learned the Aqidah, then we learned the Quran, Brothers and sisters in Islam, nowadays, a lot of our cultural practices, a lot of our societal norms are against our belief system. And the reason why we're falling into this, because we did not start from where they started. Join me, Kareem Abu Zaid, twice a week on Huda TV screen with the new edition, Aqidah Matters. See
Look to the heavens, hands spread wide, thanking Allah the Most High. There is no God but Allah.
Welcome back to iTeams World, and we will carry on our topic today, effective communication. And Dr. Mamdouh, you were talking about...
Yes, the scholars say that when Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala praised Prophet Muhammad sallallahu alaihi wasallam, he praised his manners. إِنَّكَ لَعَلَى خُلُقٍ عَظِيمٍ. So say that's it. Why Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala focused on the manners of the Prophet Muhammad sallallahu alaihi wasallam. He didn't focus on his aqidah, he didn't focus on other things. Why? Because this is what other people see. This is something external that people can see by their own eyes. So he didn't talk about his aqidah, because when I meet with you in the street, what you see from me is how I behave with you, how I interact with other people. And this way, this attracts people. They don't know what is in my heart, but they see my actions and my behaviors, and in this way they are very much affected by that. And this is something very important for us to see. People watch your behavior. They don't watch your beliefs. What comes out from us is our behavior, how we deal with people, Muslims and non-Muslims alike, how we deal with children, how we deal with our teachers, with our parents. And I remember an example that shows the impact of the behavior. It was in Philadelphia, in some place called Villanova. A Christian woman took her 2 children and came to the Islamic Center there. And she asked the leader of this Islamic Center, she said that I want you to help my kids to be Muslims.
Subhanallah.
Yeah, she was not Muslim. And this raised question with him. Why don't you think in the same way before your kids? Why don't you think? First of all, he said, why do you want your kids to be Muslims? She said wonderful things. She said that I want them, when they grow up, they treat me as the Muslim children treat their parents.
Yes.
When I grow up and I become an old mother and I needed their help and their support, I hope that they would treat me well as the Muslim children.
Not just throw them in the old home, old
Absolutely,
age home.
absolutely. Yes. So because of the behavior of the Muslim children with their parents, she loved this very much, to the degree that she wanted their kids to be this. In other words, actions speak louder than words.
True, yeah.
And the issue of manners, the issue of it's all about actions. It's not just words and speeches
It's
to
just
be
not
delivered.
knowing those things, but actually applying it. Another example similar to that, one of the Indian Islamic schools, they were saying that they have a lot of non-Muslim parents registering in that school, and they were just questioning, why are you putting these kids? They said, we want our kids to treat us like the way these kids are treating their parents.
Yes.
Because they are our neighbors, we see how good their manners and etiquettes are, and we are just surprised, and we just want to see what is it, what are they learning, and basically from there you can see the importance of applying those behaviors, the manners and the etiquettes that you take from the atheists.
Omar, I'd like to get your experience about how you deal with your parents, something that you are proud of. For example, yes, I used to kiss the feet and the hands of my mother. This is as a sign of, tell me something that, yes, you really, that attracts people, that you behave with your parents. How do you behave with your parents?
Well, sometimes a lot of my friends like the way I treat my parents and like how I react with them in a fun way, because they see that it's much more fun than like.
But you entertain them. You
yeah,
make
like
them
I
happy.
entertain them.
This is a great thing that you do this.
Like a lot of my friends don't have a strong relationship with their parents.
Okay.
For example, me, I would enjoy going out with my father, watching a movie, etc., etc.
Yes.
Like that. If I ask my friends, they barely see their father once every 3 weeks, once every 2 weeks, and then they're in the same house.
Oh.
And it's unfortunately happening, but I think...
But that's true also, but Wasim, as Sheikh Khandu said, a lot of good ethics that are taught in Islam and that we follow. But I feel that a lot of times we don't do everything.
Yeah, because I want to say, it's not a matter of acquiring knowledge.
We need to apply it.
And this is the key word. And that's why it moves from the level of knowledge to the level of skill. So in order to be skillful in doing this and applying this, it takes a long time. It requires coaching, and this perhaps the role of the parents, to coach us to good manners as early as possible, so when we grow, it becomes part of our DNA. It becomes something in our blood, embedded.
And yes, we have to really understand that we have to start early. And that's why I want from you guys, what are the moral dilemmas that youth, do you think at the moment are facing, and how we can discuss further so that we can help our viewers and others and even ourselves to make it better for our families, our people. Abdul Mateen, what do you think?
I think that, as I mentioned before, many people, they know but they don't practice, either because I think they're shy of Islam for some reason.
Is it the peer pressure? Is it
I very much feel it's going to be peer pressure because, for example, for any etiquette, all right, just because you're Muslim, the other people don't do it, so you're like, if they do it, why do I do it? Why do I have to do it? And you feel very, unique in a good way. But then as peer pressure, it affects you. So you feel, I want to be in the crowd. I want to be part of the boys, the gang, the group, whatever. And I don't want to put myself out there.
So Umar, what do you think? Are youth facing this sense of spiritual crisis where they might know the foundations of the ethics of Islam, but they might not be able to practice it the way it should be? And what are the gaps? What do you think?
Well, the gaps, I think, would be, first of all, they don't have a strong personality, because they would be giving up to peer pressure. Secondly, like Abdul Mateen said, he would be questioning himself, being unique in a good way, but he's still giving in to peer pressure. That's why, because he does not have...
So how can we avoid it? How can we avoid...
Yeah, I think from the very beginning, you know that it's a core responsibility. But I would say that the parents might not have done a good job. For example, they did not set the stage, right, for preparing their kids. Otherwise, from the very beginning, you find, we were talking about this in the bus now, in the car, and we were saying that everybody at home has his own iPhone and his own computer, and once we get home, we start being busy with these things, and there's no interaction at all.
Yeah, that's a common problem that we face in many homes. My own home, sometimes, for example.
So there is, I think the parent, or particularly the father and the mother, they did not set the stage right, and they didn't put the parameters from the very beginning. Now, yes, this is the time for all of us are going to use our computers and our machines. But there is time for dinner, and we're going to stay after that together until the time of Salat, and then we'll do this and this. If the parents designs and organizes the day is in a good way, I think everybody's going to benefit. And there will be some time to coach our kids and to teach our kids how to acquire these things that we want to tell them. If we don't have the time, I mean, if we don't organize it, where is the context? Where is the area? Where is the time that we can teach our kids these things?
Yeah, I have worked with a lot of youth, and I think one of the things they keep coming back is that, you know, parents do tell us things, but then they don't practice it themselves. So basically they are saying, you know, you have to do this, but they themselves go on...
They should preach what you practice.
Yeah, but I think it's one of the things that the youth are coming back and saying, you know, that sometimes parents do tell us all the, you know, moral ethos and of Islam, but then when it comes to practicing, some of them might not practice all the things. And I'm a parent myself, and you know, sometimes I do face that Dad, you're telling us no iPhones, but then maybe it's a work iPhone.
You yourself are using it. Exactly.
And then I'm just using it myself, looking at perhaps something that is from work, but the children will question, and you know, you have to be prepared. And it's not just about the iPhone, or it's not just about the computer. You might be doing some work on it, but it's actually, you know, putting the guidelines, like Dr. Mamdouh said, putting the parameters. There is time for this, there is time for work. You don't want to bring your work home so that it affects the upbringing of your children and your family time, where you can, you know, perhaps put those ethos into practice.
But this is also, I would go back to the issue of that, to feel the peer pressure.
Yes.
We learn from the history of Prophet Muhammad that he would have some time for himself. He would go away from the people and start reflecting and go to the mountain. This is where he got the revelation. So to be there almost in every Ramadan, he would go there and try to see the world from a better perspective. When you go up in a high mountain, you see that the people who have a lot of money, they go usually high in the
penthouses,
building. Yes, because they can see more than others. They can see the whole picture. And when you see the whole picture, you understand things that you don't see when you put yourself in a box. When you put yourself inside the box and being affected by the peer pressure, you will be affected. But in and out. In for some time when you definitely have to be with your breaks at school, sometimes in doing this, but you have to be out other times because you have to go to the library to do things by yourself. You have to do so in and out. We have to train our kids how to do this from the beginning, so to give themselves some opportunity to think deeper in any issue.
Thank you, Jazakallah khair. I really want to thank you guys for being here. It was a pleasure having you here and discussing this valuable topic. And for viewers, again, thank you for watching, and inshallah we'll see you again next time. Assalamu alaikum wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuh.
Through the window, realize all you see is for you and I. In your dreams, through the nights, every moment that passes by, look to the heavens, hands spread wide, thanking Allah the Most High. There is no God but Allah, Muhammad is His messenger. Look to the heavens, hands spread wide, thanking Allah the Most High. There is no God but Allah, Muhammad is His messenger. There is no God but Allah, Muhammad is His messenger.